What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I am your host, Robert, and today I'm going to be talking about some awesome family time I got over the weekend, the unexpected awesomeness of Peacemaker, and I finally caught back up on Undead Unluck. So, all that and more coming up in today's show. So, yeah, I hope everybody out there has had an awesome week. I hope you had an awesome weekend. Depending on when you listen to this. Um, yeah, just kind of going through the usual. Uh, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener or watcher, then welcome back. You already know. Here to talk some more manga, anime slash TV, and some family talk. So, yeah, I guess just a couple of quick housekeeping things to kind of get out the way real quick. Um, so I want to give a quick shout out to the homies Mike and Jen over on the Otakuology podcast, because I had the awesome pleasure of being a guest on their podcast. We connected over the weekend, and then they put it up. By the time y'all are hearing my podcast, it would have been up a couple of days, but you can find that on all podcast services, as well as they also have it up on their YouTube channel as well. So yeah, so it was an awesome pleasure getting a chance to finally connect with these guys, um, and stuff, and just talk. Just kind of just them interviewing me about being a solo podcast host and how I juggle doing this podcast with being a family man with 5 kids. So much love to Mike and Jen again for having me on. So y'all go check that out. I will have links in the description, and hopefully, if I get my editing skills down right, I should also have a link for the or like a card or something up at the top for y'all to go to their channel and check out their stuff. So aside from that, I also did a YouTube, well, not YouTube. I did a manga review for Daily Report About My Witch Senpai Volume 1. So, yeah, it's pretty quick, like barely 10 minutes if that. Review of it, I guess just overall, I'll just like a quick snippet or whatever of that. It was okay, but not something that I'm gonna be chomping at the bit, waiting for the next volume. But go check that out, and let me know what you think. And be on the lookout. I have another review should be dropping later this week. So, because I've told y'all, there's been quite a few volumes that I've read over the last couple of months. That some of them I maybe have touched on the podcast or whatever, but I hadn't done like proper review or impressions or whatever on them. So I'm kind of wanted to get that kind of back up and going, especially because some of these it's been so long since I read them that they have their next volumes about to drop or some are like the next one that's gonna be coming out soon. Volume 2 of it has already dropped, and so I'm kind of eyeballing another one I want to do that's got another volume coming out for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, okay, Robert, need to get to talking. But yeah, so just be on the lookout for some more reviews and stuff coming up soon. Now, as far as me and my weekend, so like I said, it was since since I did the podcast last week, I've gotten a pretty good amount of family time in, because Thursday afternoon after work, I went out to go see my aunt and my uncle. It's the aunt that my mom was living with, as well as their brother. So, cause my aunt was in town, and she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in town for a bit. Can you come see me?" Sure, cause I hadn't seen her in person since my mom's funeral, which has been almost a year ago now. So I was, of course, come see her, see my uncle and the family and stuff. So the funny thing is like, so I knew that like some years ago that my uncle had moved from where he was previously, whatever, but I just had no clue like where he moved to because I hadn't been to his new house ever since. Well, I'm thinking like, okay, it's still gonna be in the same general area, that they lived in, which was within the vicinity of my job that I have now. So I'm like, okay, hey, I'm gonna get off of work. It's gonna be like a 15-minute drive. Hey, shoot me the address. So my aunt sends me the address, and just the street address, but no city or whatever. But it only pops up one like result or whatever on Google Maps, and it was like 40 minutes away from work. So I'm like, that can't be right. Hey, can you clarify what city this is? And she put the city, and it's the one it was. I'm like, this is a 40-minute drive just from work, and it's an hour plus from my house. Uh, so yeah, so that was, of course, I told y'all before, I don't mind driving. I freaking drive all the time, but still, cause I went and got, met up with my wife so I could get Vash to take him with me, whatever. And so it was like I pretty much went 20 minutes back towards home, got him, and then went an hour to out there, whatever. But it was very nice getting to see them and stuff, whatever. They getting a chance to see my cousins. They had this very beautiful. I don't know if it's a husky or what type of dog it is, but it looks very beautiful. It has kind of like a reddish tint fur or whatever. And his name is Zeus. So very very big dog. Vash was confused. He was like, man, he kind of wanted to play with him, but the dog is freaking bigger than Vash, and Vash is 4. And so you kind of have like this creature that's like eye level with you. So, but anyway, so did that. That was cool. Then Friday night, I don't know. My daughter that plays basketball, I guess she got the juice or something, cause my wife took her to the game, cause it's my wife's turn to take her, and so they come home, and my wife is like, yeah, she scored 12 points, da da da, had a few blocks, and I'm like, repeat that. She had how many points? 12. That is the most she. That is like quadruple the most she's ever scored. Cause last week she had scored 4 points, which I think is kind of like matching like the most that she's ever scored. So the fact that she just, I don't know if she drank some good Gatorade or like on Space Jam, she had that little mystery drink. But I'm very proud of her. She pretty much had half the team's points. 'Cause I think my wife said that they won like 20 something to 8 or something or whatever with the other team. And so the fact that she had 12 points, I'm like, God, dog. But that was very awesome. And then Saturday, Saturday, uh, Saturday was majority chill for most of the day, but I kind of planned to go see my niece, my sister's youngest daughter, because it was her birthday. And so, but of course, y'all know I'm in Texas, where we get all 4 seasons, and we can get any of the seasons at any given point in time. So I'm chilling. I'm eyeballing the time because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to go over there, before a certain time because she got, she's gonna be going to do birthday stuff, whatever. So, my wife was at the house, and then we chit chat and stuff whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna start getting ready to move around and stuff whatever. And she's like, all right, well, and she said something or whatever, and then she said, oh, and by the way, it's snowing. I'm like, it's what? So I'm on the phone with her, and she's maybe like 15 minutes or so away from the house. And so I'm like, well, I don't see nothing. But then like I saw like a white, like a little white speck float through the air. Just float through the air, and I'm like, am I tripping? I'm like maybe that's some dust or trash or something or whatever. So I was like, nah, it ain't snowing here. Then I like stopped and I like really looked, and then I started seeing little flurries, and yeah, it snowed. Sure, middle of January, after it was 70 something degrees Friday. It's in like the low 30s, snowing, but it snowed for like maybe an hour or two, and then it stopped. Uh, and then I went about my merry way. And so I was like, all right, text my niece, because at first I texted her the other day. I'm like, hey, it started snowing. I might not come. Da 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 da. And she was like, yeah, it's really cold here. It's snowing too. And then I was like, oh well, all right, heading out. And so yeah, so along the way, I went and picked up some stuff cause my niece had told me a while back, and I think I might have told this story on the podcast a while back last year when I kind of found this out. But just to reiterate or whatever, found out that she is also getting into manga and stuff, whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get her some manga for her birthday. So I had already gotten a couple of volumes, but I want to kind of get one more thing because I had got her. I wanted to get her more volumes of this, but I didn't get to do that or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I can get her like a few volume ones of stuff. So I had got her volume one of Spy Family. Y'all know how much I love Spy Family. So I was like, hey, put my niece onto it. I came across a copy of Comey Can't Communicate Volume 1 for like $5. Heck yeah. Give her that to try it out or whatever. But then I was also like, because I also know how my niece is. She she is also kind of like a big fan of kind of like more like darker and horror type of stuff. So I'm like I want to get her something else than just granted Spy Family is kind of like a good mix of like balance and comedy or whatever. But comedy is a little bit more slice of life. So I need to balance it out a little bit more. So I went by a half price books, one that I've been to before. I went to the one that a while back that I was too broke to get the stuff, but they had copies of Trigon and Trigon Maxim at one point. Couldn't afford them because they were like $100 a pop. But that just shows like the caliber of stuff that they get at the store, whatever. Well, so I went there, whatever, and ended up buying more stuff for myself than her. But that was just mainly because it was like I didn't really find nothing too much or whatever. I did get her something, uh, but I got myself a lot of something too. Just because it just happened because like the last few times I've gone there, they had like some okay stuff, but nothing that really stood out. But today but when I went that day or whatever, they had a bunch of stuff that I was like have had my eyeball on or been interested in for a while. So I decided to go ahead and pick them up. So so the one I got from her or for her, I got her Bungo Stray Dogs Beast Volume 1. Now Bungo Stray Dogs, the regular series I've watched. The anime, I know for sure I've watched the first two seasons. I gotta double check if I've watched season 3 because season 4 is coming. But yeah, I enjoyed that series. I was like, you know what? Sure, I know a little bit darker tone or whatever. Let her try it out or whatever. So, got her that, and then for myself, I had got, oops, I had got Beauty and the Feast, Volume 1. And just and all of this stuff is freaking was $6. So just a little synopsis on this. When her husband passed away, Shuko lost her appetite for life and with it her love of cooking. But her neighbor Shohei Yamato brings an end to Shuko's solitary existence. A high school baseball player living on his own, Shohei has a seemingly bottomless stomach, and this presents a challenge that Shuko is only happy to accept. As her days begin to revolve around her secret hobby of feeding Shohei, will Shuko rediscover the happiness life has to offer? And so this just sounds like some nice wholesomeness. So, and this one, you know, I've seen a little bit here and there whenever I've gone to the store, and I've heard good people, you know, people online saying good things about it. So I was like, you know what, I'll give this a shot. So just peeking through, the art on it looks really good. But yeah, so be on the lookout for a review or something of that in the future. And then this is another one, Days of Fest, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So, funny thing about this, I literally discovered this series for the first time last week when I was out buying something else at Barnes and Noble, and just the spines, because at the time, because there's 4 volumes of this, and they had all 4 of them in stock, and so all the spines are pretty colorful, so they jump out. And then, of course, the actual front of it, you know, looks really pretty and just really eye catching. Like I said, just really colorful, whatever. And so I was like, you know what? I'll put it on my list because, you know, I told y'all before, I have a ongoing list in my phone of stuff that, you know, if I'm out and about and I come across a manga that I might not pick up immediately, I just jot it down like, okay, you know, I'm gonna either research it more or just say, just to keep in mind for if I ever, you know, want to pick it up. But just a brief synopsis of this. So, Kanade Sora has never been to a musical festival before, but when her friend Otahu lures her along with the promise that her favorite band will be playing, she finds herself having more fun than she ever imagined. And if one small show is enough to hook her, what might a huge overnight event at a major venue be like? As Kanade dives into a whole new world of rocking out, will her life ever be the same? So, yeah, just that premise of friends going to music festivals and stuff sounded really interesting to me. So I was like, you know what? And once again, $6 a piece. Picked it up. So, yeah, and real quick, while I'm on the subject of just manga and stuff I got, um, before I get back to the family story, I want to give a quick shout out. Hold on. Just a quick shout out to my friend, my birthday buddy, um, Jessamine, who is the host of the Epic Manga Book Club podcast. So y'all know a while back I had told y'all I randomly came across a super good deal where I came across volumes 3 through 5 of Witch Hat Atelier, and then I finally found volume 2 because that's been like out of stock everywhere or whatever. And then for my birthday, she sent me volume 1. So once again, thank you. You were so awesome for sending this awesome gift. So now I have 1, so I can start the series soon. But yeah, just wanted to give her a shout out, and like I said, y'all go check out her podcast, Epic Manga Book Club. Uh, really dope stuff. So yeah. All right. So slight tangent, but all that to be said, little manga side adventure on my way to see the family. But but yeah, so I get out there, and originally just because, you know, it's kind of cutting it close on time, knew my niece was gonna be heading out to go do some stuff, whatever. And so originally I was thinking, okay, it's just gonna be, hey, just an in and out. Hey, here's your gift, happy birthday. You know, see, I'll come back by to see you next time, whatever. But I get there, and all the nieces and nephews, at least all of my sister's kids, were at home. Uh, you know, which was super awesome, cause it was like the older niece, she opened the door. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you here too, or whatever. And then they were like, oh, my other nephew, the oldest one, Isaiah. Oh, Isaiah's here too. So I was like, oh, all four of y'all are here. Cool. So pretty much ended up staying. I ended up being over there pretty much all the rest of the night. So, because I got there like 5 p.m. and I was there close to midnight. But yeah, it was just very awesome. Like I said, just getting to just sit down and chat with all of them and stuff. Because, you know, it's so crazy. It's like the older ones, the older two are freaking adults and stuff now. So that's why I was, like I said, very happy that, hey, everybody was there. And so just kind of catching with them, like, hey, how's work and school and life or whatever else is going on. Talking to my other nephew, the youngest son, because he's about to graduate in a few months, and just kind of, you know, just seeing where his head is at and what he has planned for, you know, beyond high school. And then, of course, you know, just chilling and spending time with my brother-in-law, just kind of just checking up on him, you know, talking and stuff, whatever. And yeah, just very awesome. Like I said, just very awesome and great family time. So yeah, that was more or less my weekend in a nutshell. Um, yeah, nothing. Can't think. I can't think. I don't think nothing else too crazy happened. You know, just of course lots of, you know, watching anime and and things of that nature, which, and reading manga, which, let's go ahead and just dive right into that. So with the manga, I'm not gonna go over like a bunch of different series this week, you know, just cause, you know, I'm kind of keep it a little tighter, at least like with some stuff, whatever. Cause, you know, I told y'all I don't really want to talk about everything just for the sake of talking about it, you know, cause it's like, you know, My Hero was solid, but, you know, they're just still in the planning phase. No spoilers. Just, hey, plans are coming together. Doctor Stone, that was a really good chapter. Uh, that plan is coming along as well. um, and what was it? Sakamoto Days, just super dope as it has been for a while. And so is Mashal. I'm gonna show some love to Mashal this week, just cause, man, like there was this one panel of Mashal pretty much almost got knocked into almost like a bottomless pit, but he like freaking stuck his feet in the wall and was walking up that sucker vertically. And so there's like this like super awesome shot of Mash just like standing like horizontally looking up at the villain looking over the edge or whatever, or his opponent or whatever. But anywho, and man, I really need to catch up on Dandadan because I'm looking at it on screen right now. Whatever, they're up to freaking chapter 41. So I think I am officially probably like, hold on, let me see. No, cause when it first came out, they dropped 21 chapters, so I might not be too far behind. Let me, sorry, I'm just trying to see roughly where I'm at. Okay, I might only be like 10 chapters or so behind, but I definitely need to get back on catching up on Dan to Dan though. Um, but okay, so let's start off with One Piece. So One Piece manga chapter 1037, 1037. This one was titled Drunken Dragon Bagua. Now, of course, you know, we're still, you know, or we're just starting, you know, with the new cover page series with the Germa. All we see really is just Judge, Reiju, and I believe that's Ichiji. Um, Nothing too much there. So for the most part, this chapter was just majority of it was just lots of just hype action mixed with a head scratcher at the end. That is the best way that I can describe that. Um, but but pretty much like this chapter pretty much just starts off with like people in the flower capital getting drunk and celebrating whatever because they're like, hey man, this the only day of the year where we can kind of like let loose or whatever. So hey, I'm gonna get drunk. Well, Kaido decides to get drunk as well because he's like, yo, hey kid, I'm enjoying this fight. This is some good stuff. Let's drink to it or whatever. Of course, Kaido getting drunk, hiccuping and stuff. And Luffy, of course, is talking crap, talking about like, hey, don't use, hey, when I beat you, I don't want to hear that. Oh, I only beat you because I was drunk because you were drunk. Don't use it as an excuse. Of course, Kaido starts laughing, and then I'll just out of nowhere, cause he turned back to normal, and then Kaido just out of nowhere just transforms and does Drunken Dragon Bagua Lightning Hammered Rock, Ragnarok. So he freaking switches to his hybrid form and blitzes Luffy and just brings down with the club. And it just like shakes the whole dome of Onigashima. And then we get all these like just funny panels of Kaido being sad, furious, but all the while he's doing all these crazy cool techniques. That he did like freaking Dragon Twister, Demolition Gust, and just all these really cool moves. But then possibly one of my favorite parts, uh, Kaido goes in to blitz Luffy, and Kaido swings. Luffy jumps and dodges, and then Kaido swings. Luffy dodges, stands on the club, and then sweet chin music just gets Kaido. Just, you know, it was really dope, and I cannot wait until we get that in the anime. That's gonna look so freaking clean. But of course, yeah, if you're a '90s kid like me and you grew up watching wrestling, how could you not think of Sweet Chin Music when you saw that? But yeah, he kicks Kaido, and then they both do a freaking Conqueror's Hockey headbutt clash. It's where they're both trying to headbutt each other, but the hockey is so strong that they're like, oops, they're not touching or whatever. And so, but Luffy kind of gets blown back, and then Kaido just follows through, just like this freaking dragon breath attack, whatever. And Luffy dodges, of course, and then we just get this like this flurry of punches, and Kaido with the club as Luffy's hitting with a rock, Gum Gum rock Gatling. Kaido pulls out something called Kundali Dragon Storm, and they're smacking each other, getting hits in. Yeah, it is just a flurry of blows, and then Luffy dodges one, and just Bigfoot, boom, right to Kaido's guts, and then transition to Sacred Land, Mary Joa on the red line. Five elders. Like, what the heck is going on? And so basically, the five elders, they're discussing what's going on in Wano right now. To me, like, yo, it's kind of crazy. Then things will get this kind of out of hand. But basically, talking about how they can use the chaos of, because they're like, hey, we already know, everybody knows what Kaido and Big Mom involved and stuff. there's likely to be casualties. So hey, we can kind of use this as an opportunity to kind of eliminate some inconveniences. And so then we see that they're talking to some of their war government guys. There's some war government ships stationed right outside the borders of Wano. And then crazy thing is, we get this random kind of like line from one of the elders talking about, no, that's impossible. That fruit is only legend now, even to us. It has not awakened for centuries upon centuries. Then another elder says, then why would the world government bother to give that one specific devil fruit another name? And then somebody says, it's to erase that fruit's name from the annals of history, isn't it? As we get this crazy panel of Zunisha coming out the fog behind all these world government ships. And so it is like, okay, what is going on? Is Zunisha what they're talking about when they're like referring to in regards to this devil fruit of legend that hasn't awakened for centuries and stuff, whatever? Because we know Zunisha has been walking the earth or the planet for centuries, since the void century or whatever. And so very interesting, very, very interesting. But very big tease because we're on break next week. So no chapter for freaking 2 weeks. But and you already know we're not gonna find out nothing about that for a while. That is, there's always another tease. Um, until further notice, basically. So yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, so I am very curious to see where that's gonna go, in the future whenever we get back around to it. But yeah, so next up, I want to touch on, and I'm not gonna go super in depth on this not right now, whatever. Say that for another day, but I just definitely have to just touch on briefly. I freaking finally caught up with Undead Unluck. Now it's getting close to chapter 100, which is on 94 now. So within the next couple of months, it will be on 100. And so, still planning some stuff around that event, but you know, in the last few weeks, whatever, months, whatever, I've been hearing people talking like, yo, the spring arc, it's been really dope, or it was really cool, da 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 da. And then, the thing that finally pushed me to like, okay, I need to push through and fully catch up this weekend was when the new chapter dropped, 94 dropped, friend of the show, Kendra from the My Hero Academia podcast, she had tweeted something along the lines of, I can't remember specifically what she said. Okay, had to look it up. she had said, okay, Undead Unluck has earned a sad holy So I'm like, okay, all right, what happened? Cause there's already like, of course, like I said, like they just wrapped up a big arc in the story. But I also knew it was like a lot of hype just because Undead Unluck got the cover page for the magazine this week, and so I was like, okay, I need to see what's going on. So I caught up, and I want to say first of all, going through the whole spring arc kind of in one shot was super dope. Uh, I really I really like I like so many of the characters in this series, but seeing Fuko and just like basically her being herself and just kind of you know her coming up with her own plan of how to take down Spring, and then Andy being there and supporting her in, hey, she has an idea, let her try it, while everybody else is no doubt for like, man, she can't do nothing, or she's not gonna be able to beat him, yada yada yada. But the fact that she took a chance to try to get to know Spring itself was, the whole course of events was very beautiful. to even to the point where it's like, okay, we're even learning Spring's backstory, and I loved all the different little mini games getting involved with the top spinning thing. Of course, I'm thinking about freaking Beyblade. I was expecting somebody to say "Let it rip" when they threw the tops and stuff into the pit, and yeah, the whole thing was just so dope. Just like how they kind of paired up people with the, hope I'm getting the names right, the Union to take on Under, and so just seeing like the combination of abilities to go against the opposing side or whatever was just really cool, really dope. But some of it was also very nerve wracking because like, okay, some of these people about to die or whatever the case is. But yeah, and then just like Andy having fun at the end when he came up with the idea of like, hey, y'all attack me. Where's my camera? Attack me, and oops, I'm undead, so it went through me. But oops, it hits Spring or whatever. So, but but yeah, but that whole thing was really dope. Freaking now, I had just got to this part like a while back in my kind of catch up or whatever, but freaking Billy being like Billy's ability to copy other people's abilities, that ish was crazy when I first saw it. But yeah, just kind of just talking through, yeah, like I said, like just Fuko getting to know Spring and thus falling in love with Spring, and then finally being able to inflict damage on Spring because of that, uh, with her unluck and stuff. And so I did enjoy that kind of like that second game, just of how, or just, I guess I enjoyed for sure like the concept of, okay, hey, here's all these cards with everybody's names and stuff, and then we'll read you a description of basically this person's backstory, and then you got to pick out the cards like, okay, whose backstory did I just read off or whatever. So that whole concept or whatever is really cool. Uh, but yeah, but they, kind of comes down to Fuko playing basically a dice game of odds and evens versus Spring, and since she had built up so much unluck, it was inevitable that Spring would lose, and Spring did. But it was very beautiful though, just seeing just the way Spring went out and how that all played out and stuff. But chapter 94. Of course, we can't have nice things. You can't be happy. We can't be happy. So, out of, I don't know if it was Andy, Fuko, out of somebody's shadow, pops some mysterious person. I don't even know who this person is. At least they did not look familiar to me. But whoever this was, they freaking popped out and stabbed Fuko. And I did laugh because I think Kendra also mentioned that this dude had a freaking Sun Pirates tattoo because he like right on the middle of his chest he has a literal sun with like like the flaming sun tattooed in the middle of his chest, which looks kind of dope. Maybe someday if I get back in better shape, I'll be rocking. But yeah, dude just creeps out the shadows and stabby stab right through Fuko's chest, and she instantly collapses. And yeah, of course, Andy comes through and slices the dude. And what's his name? I can't think of the other dude's name, but basically he says Fuko doesn't have a pulse, and that's where the chapter ends. So of course, communities freaking out, communities in shambles, understandably. who is this mysterious person? Why you just come up and just stabbing our girl after all she did? But yeah, Undead Unluck, freaking really good, really good. And if you have not read it, but you are somehow listening to these spoilers or whatever, check it out, give it a shot. Um, yeah, so that's gonna do it for a manga. Like I said, I already talked about the stuff that I picked up. Yeah, and I haven't read any volumes, other volumes yet or whatever. I kind of have like a general plan of what I do want to read next, but won't. That'll be my little secret for y'all to discover later. But yeah, so let's go and just dive right over to some anime talk. All right, so just kind of just speaking in general about a few things before I get into like the stuff I want to like deep dive into. So just up front, uh, Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer both had good episodes this week. There was a very infamous panel from the manga of Attack on Titan with Yelena with the face that was finally animated, and Mappa did that moment justice. Uh, they really did that moment justice and that face justice. And of course, Demon Slayer is still going crazy. Um, Ranking of Kings, another good episode, but I just don't have a lot to like really go in depth about with Ranking of Kings this week. But hey, just know was another really awesome episode. I did want to give a shout out to do. Should have had them pulled up. Oops, where is my yeah. Um, Shout out to the YouTube channel called. Let me get it pulled up. Hold on, real quick. But their channel is called Colored Folk and Anime, and they had just did a review basically of like the first half of Ranking of Kings. So just want to give them a shout out. I followed them for a while. I just hadn't got a chance to watch much of their content, their podcast. But y'all know me, Big Boji Gang. Y'all know I had to go see what they talking about and stuff. So definitely some things that they said I agreed with. Some I definitely did not agree with in regards to like some of the because it's three hosts to some of the hosts thoughts on the series, but respect your opinions. But yeah, go give that a listen to for some more um, longer discussion of what they think of what they thought of like the first part of Ranking of Kings. But yeah, but like I said, overall, I enjoyed the episode. But like I said, I just don't really have a lot to say this week. So, but yeah, just another really good episode. So next up, I now Tokyo 24th Ward. I need to go back and finish episode 2. So hopefully by next podcast episode, I'll have watched episode 2 and 3. Just because I started it 2, but got distracted and just didn't feel like a big urge to like really dive back in. I don't know. Like that first episode was okay, but just not enough to fully pull me in like that. So maybe I'll get to that. Another one that I started, but life I need to get back and watch that or whatever. It's another one called Love of Kill. So I need to check that one out or get back to that one. So hopefully I can report on that next week. And I feel like there was another one that I want to check out. Um, yeah, I can't really think of it. I'm still watching and enjoying How a Realist Rebuilt a Kingdom. The new episodes for that good. Uh, okay, real quick. So, episode 2 of My Dress Up Darling. Really good. But as a lot of people are discovering or whatever, this series is kind of a tiptoeing, or I don't know if it's tiptoeing or fully diving in the pool into a bit of the etchy side of things. So, overall, it was still I still really enjoyed the episode and stuff. But I know that some people are kind of getting turned off or turned away from the series because of that, which very understandable. Not everybody wants to see that type of stuff, whatever. But I'll just say I am still enjoying it myself, and will still continue to watch it. But yeah, just a really cool episode. It was really cool just seeing him kind of uh, what's his name, Gojo, basically kind of being like, well, I need, well, it's the end of day Friday, it's the weekend, probably got stuff to do, so we'll come back on Monday. But Kitagawa, she shows up at his house over the weekend, just like, I ain't waiting till Monday, man. Like let's get to it. And of course, should have known, like I said, like it have a little bit of edgy, and then it having the title, want to hurry up and do it, So, but but I find it funny or whatever. But you know, we'll continue watching. Is basically the point I'm getting at with that. So, but yeah, My Dress Up Darling episode 2, thumbs up again. Uh, what else? Let's see. Case Study of Vanitas, season 2. Man, they wasted no time getting back into the mess, man. Like I don't even know like what to say, but just that like they wasted no time. They are diving. They're just diving like fully back into the mess, and I'm loving it. Like it. If y'all have not watched Case Study of Vanitas last week, whoops, definitely don't want that in there. Uh, y'all heard me gushing about this series from me watching it a couple weeks ago during the holiday break, but just more mystery building up. Sorry, I'm looking over it because I'm got the episode playing or whatever, but yeah, it is just like stuff building up, and then like the weird thing where it seemed like they got teleported back into the past or something. I don't know, but I am very intrigued to learn more of like, okay, what the heck is going on? This freaking like wolf beast thing that they had to fight. This I can't think of what the people are called. Basically the vampire hunter people. One of them showing up and he's kind of crazy. And yeah, but yeah, Case of Vanitas, really good. uh, so another new one that I tried out that I heard a couple of people talking about or whatever. I was like, you know what? Let me just give it a shot myself. It's called The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. And basically, I don't even know. I don't even know if I would call it a isekai, because it's not like he came from like normal day and went to a fantasy world. He did reincarnate, but he reincarnated into the same world, but just like generations later. So basically, hold on, let me see if I can get this one pulled up. Uh, but basically, there was a guy, a mage or whatever, that was super strong, but he wanted to, of course, get stronger. So what he does And they don't have. Why do y'all not have the synopsis? Um, Basically, he forces himself to reincarnate, and so everybody when they are born gets like one of these four crests, and that kind of determines like your aptitude for certain magical abilities and skills and stuff like that or whatever. Well, when he gets reincarnated, he gets the seal that is kind of more widely known as the Weakest Crest. But what he starts to figure out and learn, because for one, he still has knowledge and stuff, whatever, is that the crest that people think is the weakest is actually the strongest. But that's just because that over the years, things have kind of changed throughout history, and people have basically knowledge has been kind of manipulated in a way to force people to be weaker and for humans to basically like not be utilizing the full extent of their abilities. I guess is the best way to kind of phrase that or whatever. But yeah, but I enjoyed because since I just got to it or whatever, I was luckily able to watch 2 episodes and really enjoy them. I guess in a way it kind of not 100% this, but it kind of gave me somewhat similar vibes, a tiny bit, to reincarnated as reincarnated as an assassin, basically. But like I said, not 100% like that or whatever, but just like certain vibes and stuff, whatever, kind of made me think about that. But yeah, that's a really cool one that I'm enjoying. And let me see, is there another before I get to this other big one? So I guess not, because I'm kind of scrolling through. I don't see any other main anime that I wanted to talk about. Uh, yeah, nothing else too much right now. Uh, yeah, there's some other stuff I might check out eventually, or whatever, but nothing like super major impressing. Now, other big anime I want to talk about that I touched on a little bit last week, but I have to bring up again is Sabikui Bisco or Rust Eater Bisco. Episode 2, they got me hooked. And I am now down. I am fully invested in going along for this ride. Because I told y'all that first episode really intrigued me a lot. And like I said, even and somebody else that I'm a friend with on Twitter said the same thing I said last week, kind of giving a little bit of Trigun vibes. Because like I said, especially with that first episode being titled "The Man Worth 800,000," and so yeah, so this episode was really good. Uh, we finally got to see the opening theme song and stuff and visuals and stuff for it, and I really liked it. It was definitely like something like very different. And just something about the look of this show just like really pulls me in. Like I said, it really gives me, like I said, a lot of freaking Trigon vibes and stuff. But it's like in this freaking intro, there's freaking like fish flying through the air. At some point, there are like freaking giant whales that come out of the desert and they're like literally like flying through the sky. I don't know what is going on with that stuff, but hey, our main characters are traveling on a giant crab. And I don't, maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure I think I might have heard the crab talk at some point. But yeah, so got these freaking giant flying whales. The enemies use some ships called escargot aircrafts, whatever, where they're literally like helicopter things, whatever, with like snail, I don't know. And then they have freaking hippos with mounted guns, like mini guns mounted on them. I don't know what is going on with the animals in this world, but that on top of just like the mystery of like why this world is like this, what mission Bisco is on, and you know him taking the doctor with him, and then uh, this episode we finally got to see and meet a bit of Bisco's mentor, and I think his mentor's name was Jen. Um, but but anywho, it was just a really good episode, really good episode. Uh, I want to say I don't want to say 100% yet until I watch maybe like a couple more episodes, but this might be potential sleeper of the season. Um, just because you know going into this year, going into the season, I had never heard of this series before, never even seen it, nothing, and so I'm trying to think. When I was watching some one of King of Lightning streams or whatever, when he was kind of like looking ahead at like some stuff he was going to potentially be watching, whatever for the season. When he kind of because I didn't watch the trailer nothing or whatever before I watched the first episode myself, but I think he had read the synopsis because I kind of had it off like his stream off to the side while I was doing some other stuff whatever, but he was talking about like yeah like this might be the one right here whatever, and that's what kind of made me like look at it again because I'm pretty sure I probably like scrolled past it in the list of stuff for the season but didn't pay no attention. But here we are now, and it's like visually it has like a really dope look. Um, and like I said, just like this concept of like this dude shooting arrows and is creating giant mushrooms and people that their skin is being cut is getting rusted over because of some type of disease or something. And like I said, like how they are using animals for stuff, I don't know, but I freaking love it. Um, this Dr. Panda, his sister looks so freaking cool. She's the captain of whatever squad. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling at this point or whatever. But main thing is just that potentially, I'm not gonna say 100%, but potentially, don't sleep on Sabikui Bisco because, like I said, it's kind of came out of nowhere and I'm really digging it. So, if you have checked it out, let me know. Hey, message me on the YouTube video or hit me up, tweet at me, Instagram, DM, TikTok, whatever. Hit me up because I need to, you know, we need to get some conversations going about this show. Um, but yeah, because depending on how many episodes this is or whatever, I could even see myself potentially if it continues to stay good or whatever, maybe even reviewing it at the end of the season. So, but anywho, we'll get to that whenever that day and time comes. All right, so the last thing I want to touch on today, I think it's the last thing. Yeah, just looking on my list. Yeah. So last thing, certainly not the least thing, but this show, I knew it was coming because you know being on the internet, how could you not know certain shows and stuff are coming or whatever? But I did not expect it to be this good, and I might even want to say it has the best anime opening of the season, and I am talking about Peacemaker. So they put up the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker last week. Now, of course, like I said, you know, for me, it was like you know what, maybe I'll get around to it eventually, you know, and check it out. But the day that the day that the episodes dropped, and then over the next several days, whatever, everybody online like, yo, Peacemaker, don't sleep on it. That issue was real good. That was really dope, unexpected, yada yada yada. So of course I'm like, okay, all right, let me peep this. So first off, just just a refresher for somebody who might be listening, like, what the heck is Peacemaker, Robert? So Peacemaker is a spin-off continuation series from the recent uh, DC Suicide Squad movie. Now, Peacemaker, who's played by John Cena, you know, he was a pretty big role in that movie, and so this TV series literally picks up right where the movie left off with what was going on with him. And yeah, now he is on with another ragtag group of people, as he is basically being made to travel around and basically like do hired hits on people or whatever. And so yeah, so me joking about the opening, whatever. Practically from the moment, practically from the moment that the opening started, I just had this freaking dumb smile on my face because everybody in the opening is dancing, but they're just stone faced, dancing, grooving, doing all these choreographed moves and stuff, but just straight face, no emotions. And it's the whole cast, you know. So also for John Cena just coming out there doing his thing by himself, and then you know everybody starts jumping in or whatever, and then it freaking ends with the freaking eagle coming in. But I just gotta say this show is freaking awesome. This show is freaking awesome. From of course, hey, just like Suicide Squad, this is definitely very mature because you get to see some John Cena cheeks and some lady boobs and maybe even a little vajayjay, um, and all that stuff, and of course language and people exploding to little bits and brutal action and kills and stuff, whatever. So definitely not a friendly show, but like I said, if you watch Suicide Squad, then you kind of know what to expect from that. But yeah, but that intro truly set the tone because once we kind of got through like the early bits of the first episode, and then when they transitioned to the um, the intro, I was like, okay, all right, there's about to be some real dumb fun, and it was. And I'm looking forward to watching it every week now. And I would say this definitely has priority over Book of Boba Fett because we are what three episodes into Book of Boba Fett. I've only watched episode one. Episode one was okay. Granted, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I enjoy the series and I will watch the stuff whatever. But my impression after the first episode of Book of Boba Fett versus the first episodes or the first minutes of Peacemaker, I'm like, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah, baby. I am there every week, every week. I will be there watching Peacemaker. And so yeah, I definitely encourage y'all to, if you enjoy watching the Suicide Squad movie, or if you had not watched it yet, go watch it. And I'm talking about the most recent Suicide Squad movie that just came out a few months ago with, like I said, John Cena and Idris Elba. Them, not the old Suicide Squad movie with uh, Will Smith. Them that came out 5 years ago or whatever, 5 6 years ago. But yeah, Peacemaker, super dope. I I don't even know like where to really begin with just like what to even talk about with any specifics on that show. I love John Cena is just really dope in the show. He is the perfect fit to play this character, and he is doing such a great job in the role. And the little ragtag group that was kind of like put together to kind of like, that he's traveling around with doing missions and stuff with. I kind of like a lot of them too, especially both of the ladies. I love them. I love all of that little crew. Uh, but yeah, just everything from John Cena's his friends dropping by to check on him to the scenes he had with his dad and just the dumb shenanigans of the when they had to cover up the explosion on Peacemaker's car, and they told the tech dude like, "Hey, swap it out with somebody else's information or whatever." He swapped it out with Peacemaker's dad, and so it's like, you're such an idiot. And then this whatever the dude's name is, the little short green judo dude, man, that ish was so freaking funny just because of the fact of like, when they first show him. Now, when you see him in the intro, it's hard to tell. At least for me, it was kind of hard to tell. Like, or I wasn't really paying attention to like his actual size, because John Cena's picking him up like nothing, but John Cena is super big and swole. John Cena picks up all shapes and sizes of people, or whatever. And of course, camera angles, all that stuff, whatever. But it was like when we see in the show that this dude is basically like the size of a child, but he was whooping all they butts. It was just so dope. It was just so funny. Just seeing all that stuff, but yeah, but anyway, I don't need to do like a episode by episode breakdown, but yeah, it was some really good stuff. And like I said, I am just looking forward to continuing on and watching more. For real. And with that, we're going to wrap things up for this week. As always, I appreciate y'all for listening. Uh, it means the world to me. All the love and support that everybody in the community shows me. But yeah, as always, you can find me on all platforms at Dad Needs to Talk or Dad Needs to Talk Podcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, and I even have a TikTok now. So come learn with me as I figure out this whole TikTok thing and just try to have fun with it and stuff. So, but yeah, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast on all podcast services. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And yeah, like I said, just be on the lookout for more reviews coming up in the future. Like I said, for sure, more manga reviews. But hey, I really liked that Blue Period review I did a while back. So I kind of definitely want to know for sure do more anime, and hopefully in the coming months, as some games come out, do like some like solo game reviews and stuff as well, or first impressions or something. Uh, but yeah, like I said, just be on the lookout for everything. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any notifications of when stuff is about to drop. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like there was like one other like final message I was gonna say to everybody, but yeah, but I guess in general, I'm just ready to kind of dive into and knock out some of these longer series that I kind of been chipping away at for a while. So I'm kind of looking to kind of dive back into 20th Century Boys and Vinland Saga very soon, so that I can kind of get started on like Witch Hat Atelier and a bunch of other series. I kind of longer series like I Am a Hero, get back to that. So yeah, be on the lookout for all that stuff. And with that, I'm gonna stop rambling because it just hit midnight, so I need to go to bed. It's past Dad's bedtime. But I hope y'all have an awesome day and week. And be on the lookout for your boy. Send me positive energy and vibes and strength, because I have lots of dope stuff coming up, not just for my podcast, but I have several guest appearances I'm going to be making in the coming days and weeks. So stay tuned for your boy Rob on various channels. So with that being said, y'all have an awesome week. Make sure to treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga, watch some anime and TV, play some video games, and as always, live your life. And with that, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.